right, ladies and gentlemen, it is your favorite dark sorcerer here. I'm Michael Hyson, aka Angelus, son of Abaddon. And today I'd like to discuss a little bit about the personal responsibilities of the practitioners. Okay. Anytime you get on social media, you got somebody always complaining. You got people that claim to be running groups that really do not back up the rules. But you've also got individuals that claim it's about a system of magic, and yet they're just posting nothing but photos of family trips and other things. Okay, this is what I'm talking about when I say personal responsibility. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's hate speech. It doesn't matter if it's some kind of political hate or whatever. It is your responsibility as a practitioner to live your life by a code, okay? A strict code. Now, for Wiccans and pagans, even neo pagans in general, they live their life by what is known as the threefold law of return, okay? The threefold law of return was created by Gerald Gardner back in 1974, all right? And this is a guideline that basically states what you put out is what you're going to get in return. Okay, think of it as Murphy's Law. Okay, Satanists in general believe that if you're struck on the left, you smash them in the right. Basically, the whole eye for an eye, blood for blood thing. Okay, now when we get into shamanism and witchcraft aspects, shamans normally just sit back and go, yeah, whatever. But they're more nature based anyway, so they'll just basically shrug it off. But as for witches and warlocks and sorcerers alike, that's what the altar room's for. You put it out there. You put it into the void. You put it out through ritual, either through destruction ritual, compassion ritual, either through a curse or a hex. You know, witchcraft in general utilizes effigies. Now, what is an effigy? An effigy is like a voodoo doll, and that's the one thing that really comes to mind when people think of practitioners, especially that of the dark arts. An effigy can be anything from a photo of an individual to that of a doll made of corn husks with a photo or a lock of hair, okay, and the magical intent infused into that, okay. Now, it could also be an item that was taken from your own home, okay? Perhaps your car or whatever, all right? That's what an effigy is. It is a link between the spell in general to the victim, okay? And that's what a curse and a hex does. Now, some of the things that you can do to avoid this type of stuff is to rid yourself of negativity. Constant, every so often do a cleansing of yourself and your home. A sea salt bath, for an example, on a daily basis, rid yourself of the karma, the negative attributes of your day to day dealings. You know, every, say, once a month, maybe once every 3 months, um, consecrate your home. Utilize incense and like say dragon's blood, frankincense, and myrrh, for an example. Put those three, stick a piece together and go throughout your home and literally cleanse it. Okay. Again, it's personal responsibility to deal with your own lives, your own practices. Okay. It's not just how you present yourself and how you act, it's the image of who you are and what you represent. Okay. When we look at the JCI, they put on that face, that persona of, oh, we care, we just want to save your soul. But in reality, they're nothing more than bullies. They don't do anything that's beneficial to the populace. Okay. And one of the things that has come to my attention a lot over the last few days is how do you do this stuff? You know, you put yourself out there more because of who you are as being the head of an order, a religious foundation, being an ordained minister. You attract 100 times more people because of what you do. And it's true. I get both the good and the bad. And a lot of this is my personal responsibility. Okay. Now, like I said, some of the things that you can do is rid yourself of drama. Rid yourself of that drama. Get rid of the baneful influences, things that are going to disrupt your life. Like, for an example, the Illuminati wannabes. Okay. People who just want to come in and stir up trouble, um, create hate, discord, and all that stuff. Just get rid of them. You don't need them in your life. They're nothing more than a distraction. Okay. So that's something you can do. You know, lately I've been getting all these messenger notifications from people on my friends lists who are playing these games. Okay. It's just gaming systems. And I get that. I mean, hell, even I, on time to time, play my Xbox. Okay. And I do have a lot of gaming systems, but I'm not on them all the time because I'm too busy doing other things. I have a family to support. I have a job. I have a home that I gotta maintain. I'm both a father and a partner. Okay. And that's on top of running a religious organization, doing ministry and representing the order. Okay. And being an author and being a practitioner. There's a lot that goes into being a responsible practitioner. Okay. There's a lot that you need to learn, but there's also a lot that you can do to cut down on this. Daily meditation really helps. Okay, just go into your altar room, decompress. Consider it and look at it as a decompression chamber. Okay, you can even, when you go in, instead of taking a shower, take a sea salt bath. Add in some paprika, some ground cinnamon, some kind of bath oil. Okay, hot water, and just lounge. Light a candle, light some incense, and just sit in there in the dark, or just lay in there, in the tub, right in the dark, and just decompress. It's your responsibility to be able to do that. Learn how to do it. Figure out what allows you to relax. Okay. Separating the discord from positive attributes within your magical practices is something that a lot of people rarely do. Okay. And this literally shows on social media. So many individuals come under here and talk about what they're doing or what they believe something is. Okay, like say for an example, you take the term warlock. Okay, warlock in Anglo-Saxon. Okay, or that of Germanic or Indo-European literally stands for oathbreaker or betrayer. However, if you go into Welsh or you go into Slavic, you go down into Greek, even all the way down into Greek and Roman, you're going to see different points of views of what a warlock is. Christopher Penziak literally discusses this in his first book, I believe it is, The Outer Temple of Witchcraft, when he discusses on page 7 or 8, and then again on page 27, the title aspect. In Wicca, Wicca is known as the craft of the wise, okay? It's based off European roots. If you go all the way down into, let's say, African traditions, all right, you have medicine men, you have witch doctors, you have sorcerers and wizards. All of these things are just simply titles. It's like going into a JCI church and you have a reverend, a pastor, a bishop, a cardinal, the pope. It's a title. It is a rank that somebody has earned, like becoming a magister or a black pope. Okay? Same exact thing. Some people try to mix and intertwine different religions. Okay? But when you're dealing with something that deals with, say, the JCI, where you can't work with other traditions because so many different Christians believe that if you work with anything outside of their faith, it's considered to be bigotry. It's considered to be hostile. It's considered of Satan. Okay. Now, if they actually took the time to research the name, they would understand it's a title, it's a job. Even in the JCI Bible, it clearly shows him performing a duty. It does not say that he's the enemy of their God, but yet they believe what they're told. And sadly, this is something that has been passed down over the last 25, 30 years. And I've seen more and more of this happening. As a practitioner, it is your responsibility to do your own research. It is your responsibility to go out and research the different traditions, the different styles and formulations of magic, to present yourself accordingly to your path. Not my path, your path. Okay? And I've had a couple people over the last few days come to me, and they've grown up in, say, for an example, Christianity as a background. And one of them actually got into the JOS. And anytime this individual tried to research something, like, say, Michael W. Ford's work, or that of, say, Anton Zandel of Vase, okay? Anytime this individual tried to step out and kind of grow and learn, this individual was shut down. The JCI shut them down and said, no, this is what you're going to learn. And sadly, this is something that happens, and it's a reverse Christian tactic. You're going to learn exactly what we want you to learn. Wiccan and pagan practices are the same way these days. Look at the Temple of the Feminine Divine. No male can go up into the hierarchy. They're considered second class. much like women in the JCI. Okay, second class. Women report to their husbands, and the husband's ruling is final. So if the husband says no, guess what? The answer is no. Same thing with the Temple of the Feminine Divine. You can't go up those ranks. Even though they claim to have priests in the state, where are they? Plain and simple. All I've seen is priestesses, not priests. Okay, you go into any working from Janet and Farrer's work, okay, and her husband, the Witch's Bible clearly shows both male and female. The representation of the god and goddess, okay? Go into Satanism. You have Satan and Lilith, okay? But it also comes down to the tradition of denomination. It could be Lilith and Samael, okay? Going to the Necromyicon, and you have Tiamat and Leviathan, okay? There's a couple of stories there, all right? Going to Egyptian mythology, you have Isis and Osiris, who are both husband and wife, okay? Both gods. And Ra destroyed Osiris, and Isis put him back together, all right? So every tradition has both male and female aspects. They both have the positive and negative attributes. But as practitioners, it is your responsibility to uphold these things, to hold your ground, to know your legal rights. Okay. So when this individual came to me and inquired about a lot of things, and trust me, it was a good little paragraph. Okay. Or I shouldn't say little paragraph, it was kind of like a book in PDF format. But still, it was a pretty interesting read. And I told him, I told this individual, the path that you choose is up to you. What you wish to learn and where your research takes you into, that is on you, not somebody else. An order like the JOS, the Joy of Satan, yeah, they have a lot of interesting works. They deal a lot with the Kundalini. They deal a lot with the chakra systems. Okay, they have a few things on meditations. And on their websites, their website, they have a lot of good things. But when you get into the ministry aspect, such as Priestess Maxine, it's always about sex with demons, sex with this, releasing through sexual energy, yada, yada, yada. Okay? It's always about sex. Other people say, well, they're connected with the neo Nazism. Why? Because they utilize the swastika. You do realize that the swastika has gone by multiple names over thousands of years. Okay, hundreds of years. Okay, predating the JCI, predating Adolf Hitler. Okay, predating. You can sit there and call it neo-Nazism. You can call it, the KKK or whatever. But it's how you utilize the knowledge and the wisdom. Again, going into responsibility of the practitioner's personal responsibility. Knowing this stuff and where it goes into, that is where your rights come into, because it's up to you on where it goes, what you want to research. Nobody has the right to limit or deny another's freedom of religion. Okay? It's not about the herd conformity, it's about the individual's personal path between the practice and divinity. Okay? So when this individual came to me and told me that every time he tried to reach out or to ask questions about certain practitioners, be it E.A. Koetting or Michael W. Ford, you know, any one of these individuals that are very well established within the communities. Okay. Even the cabal system, the Mazajira cabal. Okay. These practices are out there and they're basically well established. So to have the JOS sit there and put a pom pom smackdown on this person's views of evolution was wrong. The JOS is an American foundation, and they literally violated this individual's religious rights. Okay, and this is what I told this individual. If you go underneath religious land use and personalized religious acts, go down to equal terms. It clearly says in A, B, C, and D that no individual, sect, or organization has the right to limit or deny another. Okay? So basically, by telling them you cannot do this, the answer is no. Do not go into it. You're limiting this individual's personal religious growth. You're denying this individual his or her right to expand spiritually. Okay? Now, as a religious foundation, they are protected by the Ramsey Law. But as I explained, the Ramsey Law will only go as far as telling the members what they can and cannot wear. Okay, it's like going into, say, Kmart, Sears, Walmart, um, Hobby Lobbies, Home Depot, some of these big corporations, okay, and saying, you know what, you can't wear an amulet or you can't wear rings, okay. Now, here, they have that right to limit and deny you in that case. But in this particular case, the JOS was actually in error. They were wrong to do what they did. Okay. And I actually gave this my honest and earnest opinion on Michael W. Ford's work. Okay. I gave him my personal and earnest opinion on the others that he mentioned, including the Mazajira Cabal system. Okay. Which was, all good, stuff because I do work with the Mazajira Cabal system myself, and I actually am highly impressed with it. I've been getting into that a lot lately, over the last year, more so over the last 6 months, 7 months area. So when we get into personal responsibilities, number one, you want to know your legal rights. It doesn't matter what country you're in, okay? There is some form of penal code or codes that will protect you, okay? One of the questions that came up a while back was when I was teaching the legal rights, especially here in the United States of America, on how to stand up for your religious rights and to protect you from these type of ignorant insects, is knowing your rights, going to what makes up a religion. Why is it considered a protective religion in this case? Okay. And what are the different borough laws? How does the state and boroughs, independent districts, look at and define what is protected? Okay. But then you go into other countries. Okay. Where can you find this stuff? Always look at your federal government. That's a great starting point. It doesn't matter if you're in Europe, Germany, um, Europe, say Slavic or Russian. It doesn't matter if you're into Greek or Romanian. There is some form of religious conduct, a code that defines what a religion is and what will protect it. Okay. Now, keep in mind that most countries are ruled by the JCI. Okay. Not everybody has the rights, such as here being here in America. Okay. But it is a matter of sticking up for your own personal beliefs, having some form of laws, rules, regulations, and conduct, such as a personal code of conduct, a personal code of honor. How do you represent yourself? How do you appear to others? How do you come off to others? Okay. Now, a lot of people will go out and look for this drama. They will set themselves into what is known as divisions and adversities. This is their right to do because they don't want to evolve. They don't want to grow. They don't want to become the bad guy, the outcast. And this is why the left-hand path is literally not for the faint of heart, especially when you get into things like necromancy, Satanism, okay? Because it's a path of individualism. It's not a herd conformity type path. It's your path, not my path, your path. And not everybody can deal with that solitary, okay? So really look at your laws, look at what you represent, what kind of codes do you live by? How do you represent yourself? And what can you do to uphold those ramifications? Okay? Those aspects. Do you know how to go about it and where you can go to, say for example, to file a report against somebody, like say to the Department of Justice or to the American Civil Liberties Union, okay, within your local, state, or district. Okay, where's your nearest one? Okay, sometimes you really have to repeatedly get their attention and say, hey, this is still going on. I've already filled out a report. Why have you not done anything? Okay, sometimes you have to light a fire underneath their behinds. And that is something that you have a right to do as well. So, but when you're going to run a Facebook group or you're going to run a foundation, having rules and regulations and is a very good thing, especially if you're going to do it in a long-term sense. Because on one hand, you want your members to feel like they belong. But on the other hand, you really want them to be able to say, okay, I have something that I can work towards here. Okay. So have a ranking system. Okay. Have some form of order. What kind do you have multiple different sources of religions, multi-faith? This is why I think becoming a multi-faith minister is a very good thing because you get to get to practice and put forth works from various different traditions, and you get to teach as an initiated individual from those traditions, and it helps the new neophytes, the acolytes that come in and are able to come to you and go, okay, so you're willing to help me understand this stuff. You're sharing these links, you're sharing these videos, you're actually discussing the mechanics of rituals of the past and how to get in touch with your your psyche, your soul, your ka, okay, and all this other mumbo jumbo. You're not sitting there, well, you have to pay for this stuff, or you have to do this, or you have to do that. It's my way or the highway. No, it's not my way. It's your way. As an elder of an order, it's my responsibility to maintain those rules, those regulations for everybody. It doesn't just apply to me, it applies to everybody. Okay. And that's what a lot of personal responsibility is about. It's about upholding those rules, those laws, and those regulations, those statutes, and knowing what you can do and where to go. Okay. So I hope this has been an intellectual conversation. I hope it's been enlightening. And if you have any questions, feel free to come to me either here or on Facebook. Okay. I will always I will always make myself available to discuss and to guide you. I won't do the work for you, but I will guide you to the materials that you're looking for. Okay. And I'll see what I can do for you. All right. So have a good day, and until next time, have a good one.